Welcome, welcome. I think I'm live. Let's check. Let us check the video. Okay, here we go. We are live. Hello, everyone. Monica Corrado here, the GAPS chef, Certified GAPS Practitioner, Holistic Nutritionist, Teaching Chef, and oh, so many things. Anyway, Monica Corrado, simplybeingwell.com. Visit me on my website. I'm here as the GAPS chef to answer your questions about the GAPS diet, answering them live on Facebook, and then this particular and every other Facebook Live I do will sit on my YouTube channel, under Ask the GAPS Chef, but it will be Simply Being Well, or you can find it under my name. In any case, just want to make sure that all of you know that I am not a medical doctor, and that therefore I will only be talking about the GAPS diet, gut and psychology syndrome, gut and physiology syndrome, which are the work and the copyrighted work of Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. So now that we've got all that out of the way, Fabu, I will, let's see, we're having fun with things. Hey, Mariah, good to see you. Woohoo! So exciting. All right, so exciting to be here. It's been a while, I know. All right. So, let's see if I can get the comments to work. Tra-la, tra-la. Something keeps going wrong. I don't know what's up with Facebook. Okay, there it is. Fabulous. Okay, so first thing I'd like to let everyone know is that some of you may have heard, but the big announcement is that I will be back in the kitchen, teaching in the kitchen live, not that I teach dead, but in-person classes in northern Colorado starting in April. They are GAPS cooking weekends. I'm offering 3 of them this year, one in April, one in June, and one in July. They are all day Friday, half day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And you can find information about that on my website, simplybeingwell.com. Go to events and you'll find the information there. These are all GAPS cooking techniques, and I'm really looking forward to getting back in the kitchen. You know, when we had that time when we could never leave our houses, remember a couple years ago? I think it was 6 years ago now. I had, I think, 6 different teaching weekends all over the country canceled. So I haven't been back in the kitchen with students since then. Of course, I've been teaching on Zoom, etc., and I have online classes, whatever. But I would love to have some folks join me in northern Colorado in April. The weekend is the 17th, 18th, 19th of April, coming right around the bend after Easter and after Passover, I do believe. So if you'd like more information, you can also send me an email, monica@simplybeingwell.com. All right, that's the first thing. Looking forward to it. Back in the kitchen. Yes. All right. I want to do a little bit of teaching today, and I want to teach about the intro diet. So you all have access. If you're on my Facebook page, you have access to this as a download, right? If you have my cookbook, first edition or second edition, this intro diet chart is in there twice, so you can find the information there easily. In case you don't have the chart itself, you can also get a download off of my website. So I wanted to talk through this because I've been running a really very cool group. I know. I said it was very cool and it's my group, but it is, which is called Jumpstart GAPS, which is a deep dive into all of the techniques, all of the stages, all of the how and when and why and what of intro. I've been running it we're going on our 8th week next week. It's an 8-week group, And it is also, I will be running it again, another group in September. So people who really want to learn the ins and outs of the intro diet, whether you have been on GAPS for a long time, whether you want to try it, whether you're just thinking about it, whether you are a certified GAPS coach or a certified GAPS practitioner, or anyone who's just interested in learning the depth of this diet, of these 6 stages, you are welcome to check that out. Jumpstart GAPS, starting in September, 8-week program together. Anyway, during that time, when I meet with this fabulous group of people, when I've been meeting with them, things come up. And so I thought I might share this for you or with you today because I hope that it's helpful to you. So what I wanted to talk about is the structure of the intro diet. Yeah, the structure of the intro diet. And what I mean by that is there are 6 stages, as you know. And one of the things that people don't get or don't see or don't understand or recognize is that every stage introduces a cooking technique. I'll just say a different cooking technique. And as you progress through the stages, the cooking techniques that are introduced in that stage, in each stage, get more challenging to your digestive system. So nothing about intro is random. Everything on the diet is there for a reason. One of the things that I just wanted people to really get is that each stage not only builds on the previous stage, each stage requires that you eat the foods and are able to tolerate. So you introduce and you're able to tolerate the foods in the previous stage. There are some caveats to that. I'll talk about those in a minute. And each stage introduces, again, a more challenging cooking technique, not just to you in the kitchen, not really to you in the kitchen, but more challenging for your digestion. And so if it turns out that you can't, your body isn't ready for that cooking technique, then what do? Then we back up to the previous stage. Muy importante. If your body is not ready for that cooking technique that's introduced in a new stage, then you back up to the previous stage. And you stay there for another week, 2 weeks, month. How long? A good long while before you try to move to the next stage again and try that new cooking technique. Usually in the GAPS diet, in general, you're going to wait a 2-week period before trying to introduce a food a second time, right? If you're having a difficulty introducing a food, your body doesn't tolerate it yet, pause. Love that word, pause. Pause for 2 weeks and then try to introduce that food again. Trial it again. People love that. That's in the forums we talk about trialing, but I'm not sure it shows up in any of the GAPS books. But try to introduce that food again, right? 2-week period that you pause. Okay, so again, one more time with feeling. Each one of these stages has a different cooking technique. So what are they? Stage 1, meat stock. You all know stage 1 is all about the meat stock. Actually, stages 1 through 6 are all about the meat stock, and so is the full GAPS diet. However, stage 1 is the meat stock is the focus of all of it, right? It's the primary thing we're eating. We're eating meat stock, which is a short-cooked stock made with meaty bones, raw meaty bones. Yeah? And then you drink the stock, you eat the meat, you eat the cartilage and the skin and all that good stuff. Sometimes you blend it in, sometimes you make collagen cubes, right? You eat the vegetables if you used them, You can also strain to use for a blended vegetable soup. So meat stock is your cooking technique that you use. It's the only one really, besides blending with a immersion blender, blending with another blender, Vitamix, whatever, making blended soups. But meat stock is the primary focus of stage 1, and you all know that. Thank God we're no longer making bone broth on stage 1 or intro at all, right, everybody? No bone broth on GAPS when you first come to it. Okay, so then we're only on stage 1 3 to 5 days. We really don't stay on stage 1 longer than that. We don't stay on stage 1, right, until longer than that. Why? Because stage 1 is a deeply healing stage, and you will have die-off on stage 1. Another great point brought up by one of my students. If meat stock, here's the question, if meat stock causes die-off, and that's all you're eating in stage 1, will you have a lot of die-off? Probably, if that's all you're eating is meat stock, right? So set yourself up for success. This is a little tangent, but set yourself up for success on stage 1 by making sure that you have time off, or you're doing it over a weekend or a long holiday. 4 days, take the time off to allow your body to go through the die-off that it's going to have, right? Stage 1. Stage 2, cooking technique. What have we got? Cooking techniques, new. What are they? Stew and casserole. Stew and casserole. So many people miss this on stage 2. I hear so many complaints about, oh, GAPS is only about soup. I'm tired of eating soup. All we're eating is soup. If all you're eating is soup, then you're not doing intro the way that it was meant to be done, which is stage 2, stews and casseroles. If you want a lot of detail on these things, I think I have 83 videos sitting on my website in my Meat Stock Masterclass. If you want to learn all about the stews and the casseroles, or simply go to the blue book and the yellow book, there are a few casserole recipes in there. I'm not sure there are any stews, but certainly casserole recipes. What's the difference between soup, right? Hearty soup, blended soup, stage 1. Stage 2, stew and casserole, right? I explained this in my friend and then student, Hillary Boynton's book, Heal Your Gut Cookbook, right? What's the difference between a soup, a stew, and a casserole? The amount of stock in it. That's the beginning. There are other things, but, right? So soup has this much stock, maybe, if this is your pot. Soup, stew, casserole, less. So those are the cooking techniques in stage 2, right? More challenging to the gut. Anytime we cook meat or poultry or fish in water, which is really what meat stock is, it makes that meat very tender, very easy to digest. That's why it's sitting on stage 1. That's why we start stage 1 with meat stock. Stage 2, we're having less meat stock. My goodness, we're having stews and casseroles. Okay, we move to 3, stage 3. What is the cooking technique in stage 3? Saute. How do we know that? Because in stage 3, we are bringing in a pan, a saute pan. You could also call it a frying pan if you wanted to, but we're not frying, right? A saute pan, and we are putting fat in it, and we are making eggs, and we are sauteing onions to go with those eggs. Runny yolks preferred always, right, for nutritional value. But, so stage 3 is saute. Can you saute other vegetables in stage 3? Absolutely. Can you saute meats in stage 3? Absolutely. Can you fry eggs in stage 3? Absolutely. So the very cool and fabulous, and please write it down, cooking technique of stage 3 is saute. We also know it's there because this is the stage that we introduce nut butter pancakes. Where are we cooking them? In a saute pan or a frying pan, I'm using those interchangeably, with fat. We're making nut butter pancakes. Okay, so stage 3, saute. Stage 4, what is the cooking technique in stage 4? Roasting. Roasting and baking. Roasting usually happens at a little higher temperature. Both of them happen in the oven. Both of them happen with little to no meat stock. You can use it, but you don't need meat stock to roast or to bake. So now, stage 4, you're bringing in roasted chicken, leg of lamb, pot roast, right? One of the most wonderful things to do for yourself on stage 4 is to ferment the meat prior to roasting. That's a new technique, new to GAPS, as of the Blue Book, right? How do you ferment meat? You ferment that roast before you put it in the oven. So that's kind of fun. Go and experiment with fermenting roasts, fermenting meat prior to baking. Okay, and we also know that baking happens in stage 4 because we are baking bread. We're making the basic bread with nut or seed flour. Yeah. Best to ferment it first. Ferment the flour first. Ferment the ground almonds or the ground sunflower seeds or the ground pumpkin seeds. Let's ferment the ground flour. They also call it meal sometimes, nut meal, seed meal, meal. Ferment that with whey. Ferment it with yogurt, ferment it with kefir, ferment it with whatever you have for 24, 48, 72 hours, longer the better, at room temperature, to get a nice fluffy loaf baked bread. So stage 4, baking. Stage 5, what do we got going on stage 5? Peeled and cooked and pureed apple. Peeled, cooked, and pureed apple. What's your cooking technique? Puree. Right? Cook and puree in a sauce pot. Yeah. And then stage 6, basically you're just peeling and eating raw fruit and bringing in more raw fruits and vegetables. So I really wanted to go in that because I think into those stages and give you a little more information, because a lot of people, again, think that GAPS is all about the soup. Well, yeah. Is it important? Yes. Is meat stock important? Yes. Do you have some every day? Yes. Is that all you can eat on intro? No. So, some people will fall off GAPS because all they're eating is soup and it's really boring. GAPS is one of the most, I don't know, I would call it yummy, but of course it's yummy. But I liken it to French food. It's like French food without the baguette, right? Certainly full GAPS is that way. French food without the baguette. Lots of cultured cream and pate and organ meats and stock and soups and stews and good salt and yeah. So, I feel like one of the things I'm here to do is not only to accurately represent, to the best of my ability, the GAPS diet and answer your questions, but also, folks, to let you know that this is not as restrictive as everyone thinks it is. Does it restrict the CRAP? Yes. Does it restrict a lot of the foods in the standard American SAD diet? Yes. Why? Because that food is garbage. Most of it. Sorry, but it's true. processed foods, hot bar foods, takeout foods, boxed foods, microwave foods, lots of carbs, meaning not the good ones, right? Lots of glyphosate, just because, we're not eating organic. Lots of processed foods. Yeah. So all those foods are restricted. We don't have them on GAPS, and you'll feel better for it for sure. Anyway, intro diet, not meant for people who are constipated, not meant for people who travel a lot, not meant for people who don't know how to cook yet. Start on full GAPS. I have a lot of videos about full GAPS on my YouTube channel, but start there. Learn how to make meat stock that gels. Learn how to make hearty soups. Learn how to make fermented fish. Learn how to make your own ghee. Learn how to make, all sorts of gorgeous things. Soak, sprout, ferment, nuts, seeds, etc. Learn how to make your own nut butter before, and sauerkraut, and vegetable medley, and kefir, and cultured cream before you get on intro. Really important. Set yourself up for success before you get on intro. For so many years, people dove right into intro, and then they would just crash and burn because they didn't have anything prepped. They didn't know how to cook. God bless them. They tried, but really, you can be in such die-off that some people really just need to spend some time on the couch for the first 2 or 3 days, right? So set yourself up for success, and don't start intro till you're ready, and certainly not if you are constipated or prone to constipation. And learn how to cook before you do, which brings me to my first thing, which is come cook with me in the kitchen in Colorado in April and June and July. All right, that's the teaching for today. I hope it's helpful. I see we have Mariah here. We have Sophie here. Hello, hello. So exciting. I love it. I will answer your questions now. All right. Mariah asks, hold on. My 4-year-old son has been doing full GAPS with me for about a month. Hooray! Great job. 4-year-old, I love it. He eats the stock, soups, stews, ferments, etc., but he's always asking for more pancakes and smoothies, which do have a little honey. He has no more than a tablespoon a day. Should I be more strict with him? He feels very restricted already. Advice. So if you're doing things correctly, which I'm sure you're doing your best to do, so you're making your nut butter pancakes, you're making your smoothies, which I'm not sure if it's a GAPS shake or not. So what I would, and this is what your child is asking for. So listen to the child, listen to the child's body. If you're concerned about, the nut butter pancakes have too much sugar in them, right? Then play with more eggs in the recipe or more nut butter in the recipe and less squash. Perhaps you could do that if you're concerned. I'm not. Pardon me. I'm going to go ahead and, I can't, but I have to clear my throat. I don't know if I can put myself on mute. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can mute me and then clear my throat. Muting. I don't know if that worked or not, but maybe it did. So, there shouldn't be any honey in nut butter pancakes. Let's just put it that way. So I hope you're not putting it in there. So there should not be any honey in nut butter pancakes. So if there is, take it out. You can maybe start there. But you can always play with that recipe, folks, right? There's no you got to make it this way. What you need to do for nut butter pancakes is nut butter, eggs, squash, maybe some salt. Nut butter, egg, squash. You play with, in the kitchen, how many eggs, how much nut butter, how much squash, which squash. Make sure the squash is cooked prior if it's a winter squash. Right, you could move from butternut, to acorn. That would be a different flavor profile. It would certainly cut the sugar down. You could also make nut butter pancakes, believe it or not, with zucchini, also known as courgette, right? I probably said it wrong, but you'll bear with me, I hope. Zucchini you could grate and use raw in the nut butter pancakes if you wanted to. If it's winter squash, cook it first. If it's summer squash, you can grate it first. I put butter and drizzle honey on the pancakes. Yeah, let's not drizzle honey. I mean, you can, but you don't need to. Up to you, Mariah. What's another option to honey? Let's drizzle Russian custard on the pancakes. Let's put a bucket of cultured cream on the pancakes. Let's go ahead and make a beautiful blueberry syrup right yourself. Get some frozen blueberries, organic, cook them down with some water in a sauce pot, blend them up, strain it through a strainer to get rid of all the seeds and the skins, and now you have your own blueberry syrup. How about raspberry syrup? Blueberry, raspberry, blackberry. Just an idea. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's not. It's interesting that your 4-year-old would feel restricted. Why is that? That your 4-year-old feels restricted? You mean there are things that he's asking for that he's not getting? Or that'd be interesting to get into, because remember, we as parents need to be projecting, this is what we eat. This is how we eat. This food is so good for us. Tra-la, tra-la. So if we're feeling restricted, our kids will feel restricted. So let's not feel restricted, right? His older brother and dad are not on GAPS. All right, tough. That's tough, Mariah and everybody else, right? That's tough. Yeah, it's so much easier if the whole family just does it. I know you know that already. But then you don't have these issues, right? I hear you. Tough. Yeah. They don't eat the sad diet, but they have sourdough, etc. Yep. I get it. Yep, they have sourdough. So when they have sourdough, give your sweetie pea a nice homemade fermented flour, nut or seed flour muffin or something special, right? All right, let's see. Smoothies are homemade yogurt with berries, avocado, coconut oil, honey. Drop the honey. I'm just saying, folks, like, up to you. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, Mariah. You're doing great. And if there's a way to have less honey, let's have less honey. Berries are great. Berries are your sweetness. Yay. So, yeah, feel into it. See if you can move the honey out. Whenever you have fruit, move the honey out if you can. Right? And whatever you do, we hope he enjoys everything he eats. Okay. All right. So Sophie asks, one more thing. Oh, you're already putting coconut oil in your smoothie, so that's great. And avocado, which is great. Yeah, listen to the body, right? One of the things that anyone who's been with me for a while knows I say over and over, listen to the body. Dr. Natasha says it too. Listen to the body. Listen to the body. What is your body saying right now? He wants more shakes or smoothies, pardon me. Have them. Yay! Right? He wants more pancakes. Great. Have them. You tweak the honey bit on the back end. See if you can. And as you know, staging things down usually works better than taking things out immediately. So maybe a little less honey. Maybe the honey that you drizzle is watered down on the pancakes. I don't know. Maybe you make fabulous blueberry syrup. That's just blueberries that are cooked down and made into syrup. Yeah. Okay. Sophie says, hi, Monica. Hi, Sophie. Is wild garlic GAPS approved? What do you think? Every vegetable is GAPS approved as long as it's not high starch or high fiber. And the fiber really is about stage 1, 2, 3, when you first get into intro and you have diarrhea. Right? So every vegetable is GAPS approved. One more time with feeling, write it down, put on your shopping list. Every vegetable is GAPS approved unless it's high in starch. What are those? Potatoes. Every single kind, right? Sweet potatoes, not GAPS. Why? Too high in sugar and starch. Right? So no potatoes, no sweet potatoes, no golly gee parsnips, believe it or not. No Jerusalem artichokes, also known as sunchokes. Why? Because they're very high in fiber and they'll choke you. Not really. They won't really choke you. Right? But As long as it's not high starch, and in the beginning, meaning when you first go into intro, a couple of stages, 2, 3, 4 stages, they're not high fiber, you're fine. So is wild garlic GAPS approved? Absolutely. Have a great time. So happy you've got it. Eat it, bless it, and go. All right. Let me just, I want to write something down here. Fish. Okay, so. Okay. All right. Oh, you're welcome, Mariah. I'm glad. Okay, Jenny. Hey, Jenny. Hi, Monica. Thank you for talking through the different cooking stages on intro. When can you introduce hamburgers? Okay, I'm quizzing you. When can you introduce hamburgers? You tell me. Somebody tell me. Looking at the stages. Where are hamburgers cooked? Hamburgers are cooked in a saute pan with butter or tallow or bacon fat or something, right? Hamburgers are cooked. Yay, stage 4. No, stage 3. Stage 3. Stage 4 if you're putting them in the oven. Right? Stage 3 is when you've got the saucepan with the butter in it, right? That's where your burger's going. Stage 4 is when you're putting it in the oven. So if you're broiling, yeah, let's laugh together. I'm with you. If you're broiling, right, you're baking your burgers. You can put them in the oven. Most people don't bake their burgers. They might broil their burgers, which might be okay in stage 4 also. Yeah? So if it's going in the oven, you're stage 4. If it's going on the stove in a pan with fat, then you're in stage 3. So that's when you would be eating those. Now remember that the less stock you're eating, you're welcome, Jenny. The less stock you're eating in a meal, I'll say it differently. When we start cooking meat without stock, it gets more challenging for the body to digest. So, again, you could make your hamburgers in stock in that saute pan, stage 3. Yeah? Or, boy, we're cooking with gas today. That's a joke. Or you could ferment those burgers first. How do you ferment your burgers? This is sitting there in the blue book. You take some great fermented something. So what do you got? So you've got sauerkraut. Maybe you chop up the sauerkraut. You've got fermented carrots. Maybe you chop them up. Chop. So they're very, very small. Yeah, you chop it all up. So it could be, again, fermented carrots. Could be sauerkraut. Could be kimchi. Not for children, probably. Too spicy. But could be pickles. Could be anything that's fermented. A fermented vegetable could be your veggies from Vegetable Medley. Chop them up really, really well, right? Mince, chop, fine. Mix it into your ground beef, or even better, your organ meat blend. Mix it all up, right? Let it sit on your counter with a plate over the bowl for, I don't know, 6 hours, 4 hours. If you're going to go longer than 6 hours, stick it in the fridge, right? But on the counter, fermented. Now go ahead and cook that burger, right? These are all cooking techniques that make it easier on the body, makes the food bioavailable. Wrong. Makes the nutrition in the food more bioavailable, more available to the body. These are pre-digestion techniques, things like fermenting meat prior to making those burgers. Right? So a lot of people put burgers in stock and call it, I don't know, they call it, maybe they call it a soup. I don't know what they call it, but they're doing that in stage 2. Maybe they call it a stew or a casserole when they bake burgers or bake meatballs in stock in the oven. Perhaps, right? Okay, so what we want to do, though, always is make sure that the body is digesting the burger. Remember, ground meat is hard for the body to digest. It's easier than a steak because the grinding is a mechanical process that helps the body, right, to use that food. But watch to make sure nobody gets constipated or gets feeling bloated, feeling heavy, slower bowel movements, etc. if you bring in something like hamburgers. Right? With any of these stages, we're always watching. There's a big difference between a roasted chicken on stage 4. Nothing in that. Where's the stock? Nada. A roasted chicken on stage 4, meaning the challenge to the digestive system, right? Than having a stew or a casserole or a soup. Stages 1 and 2. So just really watch and make sure that your body can handle these things and that your digestion is good, is strong. Your digestive fire is strong enough. Your stomach acid is strong enough to start bringing in these types of foods, roasted meat, stage 4. Do the stomach acid test, etc., etc. Hello, Yunella. How are you? So good to have you with us. Haven't seen you in so long. Okay. Hello, hello. Fermented coconut water can be used in stage 2 to 3 on GAPS. I'm looking for more potassium. More potassium. More potassium. So coconut water is fantastic. Fermented coconut water. Quite frankly, fermented coconut water, yes, you can start probably right away. Right? Stage 2 is probably best because we're bringing in more and more and more of the liquid of the ferments. So ferment it well. Stage 2 is fine. You can bring in fermented coconut water. Great idea. Hope you're well. Okay. Hello, Makey. All right. Sometimes I mix a banana. No. I'm kidding you. Being kind of. Anyone who knows me for a while knows that I'm kind of anti-banana. Sorry about that. I'm looking now. Ianella, we're talking about potassium. So one more time with feeling. Are bananas okay on GAPS? Yes. What's the best kind of banana on GAPS? Brown. Speckled brown, right? That's what we want to be using. Usually a half of a banana is enough for an adult at a time, right? So just remember, you don't want to just eat a banana. It's a lot. That's a potential for a big spike to your blood sugar. So half a banana is better. Yeah. Sometimes I mix a banana with 2 eggs and make a pancake. Is it okay with the banana? I'm on full gas for 1 year. It's probably fine. But maybe how about some squash in there? Yeah, maybe. If you want. Or some nut butter with that banana. Or make it with half a banana. I don't know. Folks, you are aware, if you've been with me for a while, that I am trying to get people to think about sugar, right, and bringing it down. Just because it's on the diet doesn't mean it's a really great thing for all of us to be eating a lot of. Listen to your body, right? Very, very important. Okay. I've woken up with leg cramps the past few nights, and that's not normal for me. I'm doing nightly enemas, Epsom salt baths, and I have mineral salt in my stock soups every day. What is anything else? I'm not even sure why it's happening. Okay, so this is my training outside of GAPS, and I'll give it to you here. Let me think about how to say this for you. Usually, leg cramp, right, because I can't say all the time. Usually, my understanding is that leg cramps come because the calcium in your diet is not getting into the tissues where it's supposed to be. It's floating it's in the bloodstream, and therefore it causes a cramp. So, what do? What puts calcium where it's supposed to go? What we call vitamin F, or essential fatty acids, right? So that's what puts calcium where it's supposed to go so that you don't cramp. There is, if you have a practitioner that is a standard process practitioner, Mariah, you can get Cataplex F. Cataplex F from Standard Process. Nobody else makes it. It's something that you could chew when you get a leg cramp and it'll go away. However, in terms of diet, what this means is that you need more butter. Rough, right? More butter or more fish oil, because they're both high in essential fatty acids that could help put the calcium into the tissue as opposed to in the blood. That's what's going to help overall, right? So, meaning it'll help with why you're having that problem. So some people use magnesium in terms leg cramps. They'll spray magnesium on their legs before they go to bed, or they'll spray magnesium if they have a cramp. But that's not getting to the issue, which is that the calcium's not where it should be. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Yeah. And the other thing is, it may be telling you, maybe, I don't know, Mariah, but it may be telling you that the nightly enemas are too depleting of minerals for you right now. You may want to back off and do an enema every other night and see if that has an effect on your on this cramping. It's just a thought, right? What else? Oh, going back to, sorry, I'm thinking of magnesium. The other thing, Mariah, you might want to do too, get some more magnesium into your body with magnesium juices, right? There's a couple of recipes in the blue book on magnesium juice for, high magnesium juices, if you will. You might want to take a look at that, Dr. Natasha's recipes. All right, everyone. Ooh, I'm doing the enemas because I'm struggling with constipation. So, Mariah, go back. I know you've done it a million times, but I know I have at least 2, 3, 4 videos on constipation. You could go back and review. The other thing to let you all know is that recently, within the last, I think 5 or 6 months-ish, last time I taught with Dr. Natasha, she talked about the fact that her belief is that constipation is connected to gallstones, bile stones, congestion there. So what does that mean? That means, in terms of GAPS, lots of GAPS shakes, high on the fat. For me, what I would be suggesting to you is more beets in your diet, because beets make the bile flow, thin the bile. Beets thin the bile, which allow for a bowel movement. Anyway, I'll give you that. All right, folks. Blessings on your journey. It's been so great to be with all of you. I will be here again in 2 weeks. I think that's true. Every second and fourth Wednesday. And so good to see you all. Yeah. Be well, everyone. Take good care. Visit me on my website. Okay. Bye now. See if we can find the old bye now time. Here we go.